So the other day I was wondering how two people can go to the same university but have two completely different experiences. One of them may absolutely love life, finding new hobbies, making loads of friends and keeping on top of their studies. But the other person may feel lonely, depressed, on the verge of dropping out. I realise it's because school doesn't prepare you for university and all of its drama. But don't worry, because I'll be revealing some of the biggest things to avoid and what you should know about uni life as you learn about my mistakes. So the first thing I want to talk about is independence. As you may assume, it's a lot to handle at first because university is completely different from anything you've probably ever experienced before. Most of you will be living alone in student halls or accommodation the first year, and everything you choose to do for the next few years will be completely down to what you actually want to do. There'll be no one telling you that you have to do this, make sure to sign up for this, you have to be home at a certain time. There's nothing like that because you're already an adult and you're living by yourself, which can be very nice but also scary. Homesickness is actually very real, and I feel like a lot of people often overlook it. When I first moved to university, I did not think I would be homesick. I knew I'd miss everyone, but I didn't think I'd miss home as much as I did for the first few weeks. From the very first day, I instantly felt that I was lonely because, I mean, you don't really know anyone. All you know is your flatmates, which is good, but you used to be able to see everyone at home with you. So all of these emotions add up together, and I feel like they'll hit you harder than you may expect. And also, no one actually tells you how much admin work is involved and how much you actually have to live on your own now. It's up to you to organize everything. This can range from how you budget your money, to what meals you're cooking that day, to what time you leave the house. I'll be touching on a few of these topics a bit later on in the video, but for now I feel like it's just a good idea to realize that you're going to be on your own a lot and realize that you have a new responsibility. The next point I want to talk about is about your friends and friendships and relationships that you'll make throughout these few years. Normally at the start of university, you normally make friends with everyone. You ask the common questions like, where do you live, what course you're studying, all of these things. And it's generally very repetitive, and you sort of cling on with the first people you meet, which is completely normal, but not very realistic for the long term. You should also realize that you won't click with everyone. Not everyone you meet will be friend-worthy for you, and you may be completely different. And it can get very exhausting when you feel like you're just constantly trying to make friends and it's just super hard, but everyone is in the same boat. But it is like the real world, and if you eventually keep putting yourself out there and keep trying to make connections, then you will eventually find a group of friends or one or two people that are close to you. And a side note, completely opposite from that, you realize how small the world actually is. Normally when talking to people, they have a mutual connection that you know. It's scary how many people know each other, and I feel like this feeling is way amplified in university. Next, I wanted to talk quickly about the drinking culture at university, because I know a lot of you who are coming don't want to drink and don't drink at all, which is completely fine. There is a stigma around university that there's parties every day, you're drinking loads, everyone's getting super drunk, but that doesn't need to be you. Now, peer pressure is real and the drinking culture is very real, but it really depends on who you surround yourself with and what you choose to do. Peer pressure is only real if you have peers who like to do this sort of thing. If you have a good group of people around you that you trust, that is the only thing that should matter. And even though there is this idea of constant partying or drinking or whatever, you can just say you don't want to, or that you just don't drink, and that's completely acceptable. So if you were worried about anything like that, please don't be, because it's nothing to stress yourself out about. Okay, now on to the important topic of your studies. Now it depends on the university, and for Bristol and for dentistry specifically, a lot of our lectures are actually online. For each course, you may have loads of lectures one week and no lectures the other week, or it may vary. It's completely down to how your lecturers like to set things out. But generally, you have a lot less class time. You have a lot more independent study in university, and the teacher isn't holding your hand throughout the year, which makes you the sole responsibility bearer of your own learning. Learning can feel very impersonal because you're in a huge lecture room and the teacher's just normally just giving a little presentation, and then after that it's up to you to revise and actually learn everything. But generally for me, I actually learn most things outside of these classes. So with that, it is very important to have a good schedule and to build a good foundation of your knowledge so that you don't fall further and further behind. I think that you can easily do this if you use something like Google Calendar. I literally organize my life on here whenever I have a busy week, and it's super easy to use. And since you have way more freedom, procrastination turns into a much bigger issue. Self-discipline is crucial, and hopefully you'll build a lot of this in university, and hopefully you've read it actually built a lot of it during your A-levels and GCSEs. But at the end of the day, you're at university to learn and you're paying a lot for your degree, so please make the most of it. Now let's talk about work-life balance, these boring things. So part-time jobs, can you balance a part-time job whilst you're in university? And for the majority of people, I think the answer is yes. Many students do need to work to support themselves because often the student loan or the money you borrow isn't as much as you need to survive. But the key really is to find a good flexible job that you enjoy. The university does offer jobs, so for example there may be an ambassador role on your certain course where you teach younger years, and that is a very good opportunity to both revise your knowledge whilst also earning money on the side. Another good source of income is just to apply to normal big businesses. Because you're students and because you're at that university, they'll completely understand that you have a busy schedule and your timetable is a mess. So a lot of them offer 0-hour contracts, which are super good. And these 0-hour contracts, I'm pretty sure, means that you're not required to work any amount of hours per week. You can pretty much go in whenever they need help or whenever you're free, and they pay you accordingly to how much work you do. So on days you're really free, you may want to do a few hours here and there just to earn a little bit more. And in terms of balancing this with your social life, I think that it's very doable. A lot of the time when people say they have no time to do anything else, it's because they waste a lot of their free time scrolling TikTok or just binge watching shows for too long. And this time is crucial time, which you could be using maybe to go see a friend, watch a movie with a friend, or do something a bit more social if you would like. And I feel like a lot of us don't realize how much time we actually waste, because it's crazy nowadays, all the tools these apps have to suck our attention away. Okay, now on to money and money management. Budgeting is harder than it seems. A lot of students struggle with budgeting because it's the first time we're given a huge sum of money, and the majority of students will have applied for student finance. So that includes your tuition fees, which is generally £9,250 for a year. And you also apply for maintenance loan, which can be, I don't know, probably from around 4,000 to 10,000, depending on your income or something like that. The funny thing is the maintenance loan is generally not enough for accommodation and living, which is crazy. Therefore, you have to be careful with your expenses so you don't go into overdraft or just waste all of your money the second you get it. Rent obviously sucks up a lot of your money, but food also eats a lot of it away. Also, you have to take into account social events and the money you spend there as well. Therefore, mentioning all of these things, you have to be smart with your money. If you know you're going to struggle and you know that next month's rent is going to be hard for you to afford, you shouldn't spend that money on random things. You can easily save on food, for example, cutting down on snacks or buying less expensive food options. Or instead of eating out every day, you can just cook 3 times a day. And a lot of things you buy nowadays do have student discounts, which are around 10%, but it's a lot better than nothing. So this section sort of carries on from the other one, and it's about cooking, but more in detail. If you're at home now, please learn to cook before you go into uni, whether that just be watching a few videos, watching your parents cook, anything like this is way better than nothing. Your nutrition is important, and the amount of times I see uni struggle meals is crazy. Cooking healthily and cheaply is a very good life skill, and I believe everyone should learn it no matter how much money you have. Being able to also meal plan is a very good skill, and you'll definitely need to do this. If you have no idea how to make anything, start simple, and gradually you'll build this culinary experience, saving you time, being able to cook faster and better, so that you can do something else with your time. Now, I want to talk about setting a goal for yourself in university and when you leave. After uni, your real life starts. I feel like a lot of people don't know this, or they don't think about it because they don't want it to be true. As soon as you've got your degree, you're ready to start work. But how are you going to get somewhere if you don't know where you want to go? University goes by super quick, and I'm sure you'll miss it the most when you finally left. Setting yourself a goal may be to just apply for a few internships, to maybe apply for a few jobs in the summer for some work experience, things like that. Whether your goal is big or small, at least set something so you know what to aim for. Don't waste the time you have at university, because ultimately we're here to learn. University is an opportunity, and if you're fortunate enough to experience it, then make as many memories as you can and don't let it go to waste. But remember to have fun, but also work hard, because it forms an important chunk of our life that determines where we go next. Thank you very much for watching. Show some support if this has helped you, and feel free to ask any questions you have.